Right now, some part of your body probably hurts. A headache, sore muscles, maybe worse. And your first instinct is to reach for a pill. But that instinct is not new. It is not even human. It goes back tens of thousands of years, long before medicine, long before writing, long before anyone knew what a nerve was. Ancient humans felt pain exactly like we do. They just had to find their own way to kill it. And what they found is stranger, older, and darker than you think. This is the real story of how humans first fought pain. Let's start in northern Iraq, in a place called Shanidar Cave. In the 1950s, archaeologist Ralph Selecki was excavating there. He found the remains of a Neanderthal man, roughly 60,000 years old. Researchers named him Shanidar IV. Around his body, they found clumps of pollen. The pollen came from 8 different flowering plants: yarrow, cornflower, grape hyacinth. Several of them have known medicinal properties. Some researchers believe Shanidar IV was buried with healing herbs. Other scientists pushed back hard. They pointed out that burrowing rodents live in that cave. Bees may have carried the pollen in instead. The debate is still not settled today, but it opened a real question. Did Neanderthals already understand plants as medicine? The next site answered that question directly. In Spain, there is a cave called El Cedron. In 2017, a team led by Laura Weyrich analyzed ancient DNA. It came from the calcified plaque on Neanderthal teeth. One of those Neanderthals had a dental abscess. That is a deep, throbbing infection at the root of a tooth. He also had a gut parasite, 2 sources of serious, constant pain. In his plaque, researchers found DNA from poplar bark. Poplar bark contains a compound close to aspirin. They also found traces of penicillium mold. That mold produces a natural antibiotic. This Neanderthal was in agony, and he chewed the exact plant that would have eased it. Alan Cooper, a co-author on the study, called it self-medication. Not a coincidence, a choice. Now travel forward and across an ocean to northern Peru. In the Nanchoc Valley, archaeologists studied house floors there. They found chewed coca leaves. Alongside them were small pieces of lime. Lime helps release the active compounds in coca. This discovery was dated to 8,000 years ago. Published in the journal Antiquity, it remains the earliest known coca use. Chewing coca dulls hunger. It also numbs minor pain, and it gives a mild, steady lift in energy. In the thin air of the Andes, that mattered. People weren't just chewing a leaf for pleasure. They were managing exhaustion, cold, and physical strain. This practice never stopped. Andean communities still chew coca today. Back in Europe, the evidence gets more direct. In southern Spain sits the Cueva de los Murciélagos. Its name means Cave of the Bats. Inside, archaeologists found opium poppy capsules. They were placed deliberately among burial goods. Carbon dating puts them around 4,200 BCE. That makes this one of the oldest confirmed uses of opium anywhere. Opium poppies produce a resin. That resin is a powerful natural painkiller. Whoever placed those capsules understood their effect. This wasn't an accident of diet. It was a decision, buried with the dead. By 1550 BCE, the evidence stops being guesswork entirely. In Egypt, physicians wrote it all down. The document is called the Ebers Papyrus. It's over 20 meters of preserved text. Inside, it lists remedies for specific ailments. One repeated remedy is willow bark. Willow bark contains a compound called salicin. Salicin breaks down into something close to aspirin. Egyptian doctors prescribed it for general aches and pain. They mixed it into beer, wine, or milk. This wasn't folklore passed by accident. It was a working medical text. Egyptians had built a pharmacy from a tree, but not every use of these plants was about healing the living. In Israel, at a site called Tel Yehud, archaeologists made a darker discovery. In 2022, researcher Vanessa Linares led new residue testing. The vessels were shaped like inverted poppy flowers. Testing confirmed opium residue inside 8 of them. They date to the 14th century BCE, and they weren't found in a home. They were found buried in a Canaanite grave. Linares suggested a ritual purpose behind them. Family members may have used opium during mourning. Some researchers believe it helped them contact the dead. Pain relief here wasn't just physical. It reached toward grief itself. Now, for the most extreme case of all. On the island of Menorca, there is a cave called Ez Karat Keys. In 2023, scientists tested preserved human hair strands. The hair came from a Bronze Age burial site. Chemical analysis found 3 separate alkaloids: ephedrine, one. Atropine, scopolamine. These aren't gentle herbal remedies. Atropine and scopolamine come from deliriant plants. In small doses, they numb pain and calm the body. In slightly larger doses, they cause hallucinations. Too much, and they can kill you. Someone in Bronze Age Minorca was using these substances precisely. That takes real, dangerous knowledge. This wasn't primitive trial and error. It was pharmacology without the name. Now imagine it yourself. You are a Neanderthal with a screaming toothache. You reach for bark on a nearby tree. You are in the high Andes, lungs burning. You place a coca leaf against your cheek. You are grieving beside an open grave. Someone hands you a cup laced with poppy resin. You don't know the chemistry. You only know it dulls the pain. That instinct never left us. Right now, your own body still makes opioids naturally. They're called endorphins, and they work the same ancient pathways. The aspirin in your medicine cabinet still comes from willow bark. The active ingredient hasn't really changed in 3,500 years. When you take an ibuprofen for a headache, you're doing what a Neanderthal did in a cave in Spain. The tools changed. The instinct never did. So the next time something hurts, and you reach for relief, remember what you're really doing. You are repeating a habit that is tens of thousands of years old. Long before hospitals, before pills, before even language, humans were already hunting for a way to make pain stop. This isn't a footnote to human history. It might be one of the reasons we survived it. If you want to look deeper into any of these studies, they're linked in the description below.